Salvete discipuli, this is Professor Libitica, and this is a video discussing the recitation assignment in Latin 213. So the recitation is one of 5 long-form assignments that are going to be graded on a specification basis in Latin 213, meaning satisfactory or unsatisfactory. And these assignments are designed to develop your Latin skills in new ways, ways that we didn't really delve much into in Latin 101 and 102. One of the areas that we didn't really get much into in Intro Latin was pronunciation, saying the Latin out loud, and understanding how to communicate Latin orally. So that's what this assignment is geared towards, getting you practice with speaking Latin out loud. The way that the assignment works is that you're going to choose any one letter in our textbook, Pliny the Younger, Selected Letters by Joanne Shelton, of whatever length you want. It can be as short as a paragraph, it can be up to 6 or 7, or as long a letter as you would like. And you're going to read it, recite it. You don't have to memorize it all. You can literally just read right off the page or off whatever script you want with whatever markings you want for parentheses, arrows, etc., etc. That's really the assignment. In terms of evaluation, I'm not looking to see whether you are the next incarnation of the greatest Roman orator ever. I'm looking for an honest attempt at reading this Latin out loud in 3 major areas. 1, do you have a sense of sentences, where they begin, where they end, and what kind of sentence it is? For example, if it's a question, you know that when we ask a question, normally our pitch goes up at the end of the sentence. Is it a question? It's not. So questions versus declarative sentences, things like that. So are you using your periods, your semicolons, and your question marks or exclamation points to your advantage here? The second major area that I'm looking for is the smaller divisions of sentences. So clauses. Can you give me a sense of where a dependent clause begins and where it ends, and where the main clause begins and ends? Also, smaller units too. Are you grouping together all your prepositional phrases? Are you grouping together nouns and adjectives? Things like that. Then third, and perhaps not as high level as sentences or clauses, is word pronunciation, an area that we didn't really get much into at all in Latin 101, 102, but we will in 213. There are specific rules for how to pronounce Latin, things like the law of the penultimate, V's as W's, things that we're going to talk about, get into much more detail with in Latin 213. So if that means nothing to you right now, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it in class. And you don't have to have it perfect for this assignment, but I'd like to see you making an attempt at it. In order to illustrate this, I'm going to take the 3rd letter in Shelton on page 10, letter 111 of Pliny, which is just 1 paragraph long. Pliny is writing a letter to his friend Fabius Eustace to sort of rib him and say, hey, I haven't gotten a letter from you in a while. Just write to me, write anything to me. So a very playful letter among friends. And I'm going to read it in 2 ways. One is a more flat reading designed to really highlight sentences, clauses, and smaller units and word pronunciation. And the second way is going to be sort of acting it out a little bit more, hamming it up. So this first one here, designed to illustrate those different criteria of sentences and sentence types, clauses and smaller structures, and word pronunciation. Gaius Plinius Fabio Justo suo salutem. Olim mihi nullas epistulas mitis. Nihil est, inquis, quod scribam. Ad hoc ipsum scribe. Nihil esse quod scribas. Vel solum illud, unde incipere priores solebant. Si vales, bene est. Ego valeo. Hoc mihi sufficit. Est enim maximum. Ludere me putas? Serio peto. Fac sciam quid agas, quod sine solicitudine summa nescire non possum. Vale. So that was the first one, the more flat reading, and the second one here, I'm going to sort of act it out a little bit more. A very playful letter. I'm going to put on a few voices. It's going to be great. Gaius Plinius Fabio Justo suo salutem. Olim mihi nullas epistulas mitis. Nihil est, inquis, quod scribam. At hoc ipsum scribe. Nihil esse quod scribas. Vel solum illud, unde incipere priores solebant. Si vales, bene est. Ego valeo. Hoc mihi sufficit. est enim maximum. Ludere me putas? Serio peto. Fax ciam quid agas, quod sine solicitudine summa nescire non possum. Vale. So to be clear, that second version is not mandatory at all. All I'm looking for here is that whether you have a sense of sentences and sentence types, the clauses that make up that sentence, and word pronunciation. But if you choose a letter that you really like and you're really getting into it and you want to act it out, great, awesome, go for it. But it's not mandatory, it's not obligatory by any stretch of the imagination. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be memorized. You'll notice that I made a few mistakes there, and my voice cracked a few times too, so no worries on that front. I just want to see you making an honest attempt at this. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, thank you all, see you in class. Walete.